Welcome to the very first episode of Plugged In, the show where we unpacked how AI is changing the music industry, creativity, and the way we as people experience sound. Here's a listen.
Plugged in. Ooh. The world feels brand new. Little wires humming like they're singing for you. Sound grows, sunshine breaking through. AI in the music, painting all the grooves.
Music has always played a huge role in my life, but if I'm being honest, it didn't hit in a real deeper way until around 7th grade, when I heard Tyler the Creator's album Igor for the first time. Up until then, music to me was just good beats, catchy rhymes, songs that sounded cool, but Igor felt different. That album felt like a story, messy, emotional, personal, and honest. It made me realize that music isn't just entertainment, it's someone's life being played out in real time. That album was the first time I understood that artists aren't just performers, they're storytellers. They build whole worlds, character arcs, and emotions. And that's exactly why this whole topic matters so much to me. Because now, years later, we're at a point where AI can create music too. Music that sounds emotional, personal, and quote unquote human, even when there's no actual story or life behind it. So I started asking myself, if music is a story, what happens when the storyteller isn't real? That question is what brought me here, to this project, to this podcast, and to this first episode where we start figuring out whether AI is helping music or changing it into something completely different. Let's start with the basics. AI today can produce full songs, imitate artists' voices, follow a style or genre, personalize playlists, recommend music based on what's trending, even be your literal AI DJ on Spotify. It can do all this faster than a human and without needing years of training, practice, or equipment. But here's where things get complicated. Is AI enhancing music or replacing it? That's the real conversation. One article I read said something that stuck with me. AI isn't a replacement for human creativity, it's a tool to enhance it. And honestly, I get that. If you're an artist, AI can help spark ideas, improve production, or speed up your workflow. It can be like having an assistant in the studio. But here's the question that pushed me deeper. If AI is copying artists' voices, using their styles, and creating songs that they never approved, is that really just a tool? Or is it crossing into something else? After doing a little bit of research, taking some time writing down on my notes, I actually wrote something that stuck out to me. If we're okay with AI generating music from our favorite artists, how do they actually feel about it? And that's the truth. Fans love it, but a lot of artists don't. Because AI can generate songs using their voice, their style, and their identity without paying them or giving any credit to that artist. Record labels are trying to figure out how to protect artists from being copied, but the technology is moving way faster than the laws are. So even if AI music sounds good, there's an ethical layer underneath it that we just can't ignore. Another issue that came up in my research is AI controlling what people hear. For example, Spotify has AI DJs. AI recommends more popular artists, lesser known artists are, usually less visible. Independent artists struggle to gain that traction that the bigger artists would. If algorithms only push the big names, then small artists get lost before they even get a chance. So the question becomes, can we find a balance that keeps the industry fair? This is something we're going to explore more in episode 3. The conversation around AI and creativity isn't just about whether a song sounds good or not. It's deeper than that. It's about something happening right now that people don't really talk about. Because the truth is, AI is learning from us, but we aren't learning from it. And right now, the imbalance is showing up in real ways. AI isn't just generating music, it's absorbing styles, mimicking voices, copying emotional tones that came from real artists' real experiences. It's taking the heartbreak, growth, pain, storytelling, all the moments that artists live through, and turning them into tools the average person can recreate in a few seconds. This isn't hypothetical, it's actually happening. We've reached the point where a kid in his bedroom can create a Drake style song in less than 10 seconds. An AI model can recreate a Kendrick flow without Kendrick ever touching that microphone. Vocals that took artists years to develop can be replicated instantly. And the craziest part is, AI doesn't care about that process, only the product that it puts out. It doesn't care about the story behind the song, the history that shaped the song, or even the human that made that song. And that's the part that feels dangerous. Because when you strip creativity away from the lived experience, when you remove the story, the human flaw, the emotion, the imperfections, you're left with something that sounds good, but doesn't mean anything. And if listeners start preferring that, if people start choosing perfect sounding AI music over real artists, then we have to ask ourselves, what happens to the authenticity? What happens to the culture? What happens to the value of actually living through something? That's the real issue. Not whether AI can make a beat, it can rhyme, or it can sound like Frank Ocean or Tyler, Kanye, or Kendrick. It's about whether we're slowly training ourselves to accept creativity with no humanity behind it. And if we're okay with that, what does that mean for the future of music? As we wrap up this first episode, I think it's important to talk about why this whole conversation actually matters. Not in a hypothetical, someday way, but in a right now kind of way. Because the truth is, AI isn't something we're preparing for, it's something we're already living with. It's already reshaping the music industry in ways we can see. In the way playlists are built, in the way artists get discovered, in the way songs go viral, in the way kids are learning music production faster than any generation before them. And we're not just watching this happen from the outside, we're all participating in it. Every time we stream a song, every time we search for something on Spotify, every time we listen to a playlist, an algorithm curated for us. We're feeding the system just by showing up. So when we ask, is AI changing music? The real answer is, it already has. And it's going to keep changing it whether we're ready or not. And that's why conversations like this matter. Because if we don't talk about fairness, ethics, who benefits, who gets left behind, and whether creativity still has a human core, then we lose control of the narrative. What scares me isn't AI getting better. What scares me is people not understanding the impact until it's too late to shape the direction. That's why this podcast exists. Not to tell you that AI is good or bad, not to convince you to take a side, but to make sure we're all plugged into what's happening. So that's when the changes hit full speed. We're not just passive listeners, we're informed. So if you made it this far into the episode, just know this. You're already ahead of the curve. You're one of the people paying attention, and one of the people actually thinking about what this future looks like. And in the next episode, we're going even deeper. Because now that we've talked about what's happening, we need to talk about what it means. Just to give you a little sneak peek on what episode 2 is going to be all about, we're going to talk about AI versus human creativity. Is AI enhancing music or replacing the very thing that makes it meaningful? Trust me, you're going to want to hear this one. And that officially wraps up episode 1 of Plugged In. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and thank you for stepping into this conversation with an open mind. My name is Jalen, this is Plugged In, and we're just getting started.